everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 138 on Monday the 4th of July 2011. My name is Steve Layton and I know this because I'm a natural kind of guy. Yes, not the sweetest link I've done. So, what do I mean by a natural kind of guy? Well, the next 2 weeks we're all going to be leaving the roastery. We're going to go outside. I've got a big bus waiting for us to go, and on the front of that bus it's got Funky Town. And you're all very welcome to come along for this journey. The next 2 weeks we've got 2 natural coffees. Next week's that is like super special. We're still nailing that roast, but this week's is super rare. So 2 very different naturals as well, which I think you will enjoy. And yeah, I look forward to presenting those to you this week and next week. The roastery. New roastery's coming along. I reckon next week we'll have a chance to do it in my roastery because it's coming together, and but I want it to be a big change. On your packs this week you may notice a little label on the back. I'm going to pop a link below to a blog post I've done to explain what that is and how you can take advantage of it, so please do that. Yeah, let's talk about some coffee. So this week's coffee is the first in quite a few new crop Costa Ricans that we're going to be having over the next couple of weeks, and I personally think you're going to love this one. It's super different to all the others that we've got coming as well, so I hope you do like it. Owned by the Sharkan Solano family, who've been growing coffee on Lajas, which is the name of the farm, for over 80 years. Currently the current owners are Oscar and Francina, and began farming there 30 years ago, where they made a very firm decision in their own mind. They wanted to farm organically. Not something incredibly popular 30 years ago, and in fact they are one of the first certified farms in Costa Rica to be certified organic, which was I think back in 2000, which is quite impressive. The farm, Las Lajas, is located at 1300 to 1500 metres and is in the foothills of the Pajos volcano, which is in the central valley of Costa Rica. An amazing area which I visited in February this year. Didn't actually get to go to Las Lajas as this was a little bit of a shock when we were buying, but an amazingly beautiful area. Central Valley is like a really important part, and to understand all of the regions of Costa Rica, I'm going to show you a map now on the screen. Each of these growing regions has a certain style, and this will help you in your own mind break up the coffees that we're going to be arriving over the next couple of weeks. So I am going to come back to this map in later episodes, but this is a Central Valley, and the farm produces Caturra and Cataí varietals, which are shade grown, entirely free of any chemicals or toxins or anything. You know, it's basically a proper organic farming. The harvest on the farm starts in December, runs until February, March. Cherries are hand-picked. Hand-picking is very common on lots of specialty farms, but basically they pick the ripest, reddest cherries to make sure that the quality is good, and that transfers itself into the cup. What is a little bit unusual is they do all of their drying on raised African beds, where it's dried for around about 10 days. And then they move it to a polytunnel, which is a big plastic tunnel where it will be taken to the point where it's at the right humidity, which for this case is 11.5% on this coffee. Then rested before being milled, graded, and all sorted out. So, coffee's been recognised before in the Cup of Excellence in 2008 and 2009. They finished in the top 25 both years. A sign that these guys are obviously doing something right. And this lot is called Perla Negra, and basically black pearl. So it's a very small micro lot from Las Lajas. So let's go through the numbers. Farm name is Las Lajas, varietals Caturra Cataí. It's a naturally processed sun-dried coffee, dried on African beds, finished off in polytunnels, owned by the Sharkan Solano family, near the Pajos volcano, in the region of Los Angeles, which is in the Central Valley of Costa Rica, and it is an organic certified coffee. So, natural coffees, I think I know you guys tend to enjoy them as dotted in different ones. I really hope you're going to enjoy this week's. I'm going to go and whap you on pause, and then I'm going to go and make some delicious, lovely natural coffee, and I will be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so I'm back, so I'm going to dive straight into the espresso as always. Big and chewy and bold. Massive mouthfeel to it, like really thick and gloopy. Very, very strong flavours, and strong flavours I know I'm going to find further on, but you're going to find things like fig, dried fruits, think like sultanas, think kind of prunes, that kind of like really dried fruit kind of thing going on there. I'm going to show you a picture of the rose colour now. Perhaps a tiny bit darker than we would normally go for most things. I would say the darker end of medium dark. It's a big coffee. It can take this slightly darker roast on it. Really gives it that big mouthfeel and presence. The beans just smell amazing. There is such a strong smell on the beans. It really is a phenomenal. And just get your nose in the bag, and you can smell that dried fruit. It just smells of sultanas. It really, really does. So into the milk. That has presence. That really does have presence. It's there in the milk. You can taste it. It's got a good feel to it. He's a good. It works really well in both of those. A very, very bold flavour. Right, time for the mug. And the box said, "I saw this in Amsterdam airport and thought of you, Jess." Why would you think of me when you think of this cup, Jess? It's awesome though. I absolutely love it, so thank you very, very, very much. Coffee I've made today is, I've made it in the Clover. If those who don't know what the Clover is, Google Clover coffee maker and you'll find some stuff. I haven't used it for ages, but somebody's asked me to do a little video of it today for them, so yeah, hence making this on the Clover. So there's no grown-up way to drink out of this, is there? Excuse the noise in the background, don't know what's happened there. The smell gives you that really kind of big, bold smell. But this is where this coffee gets interesting. It's good in these. In here, I think it gets super interesting because it starts off as clean, starts off as sweet, starts off as like a washed coffee, and then about 5 seconds in, it kind of remembers that it's not washed and it's natural and it needs to be funky and a bit kind of crazy. So all of a sudden it takes this Jekyll and Hyde turn, and I put this in the cupping notes, the Jekyll and Hyde, and I think it fits it perfectly. A Jekyll and Hyde turn where it suddenly goes a bit mental. And you get that dried fruit and that booziness and that real kind of natural funk that you expect in the cup. But it doesn't start off that way, and it's a real kind of complex, confused coffee, but in a good way. I know confused could possibly be a bad thing, but I think in this case it's in a real good way. In these two, it behaves itself very sensibly. It is a natural coffee, but in here, there is something that goes on where all of a sudden it just changes into this bucket of craziness. There is no way to drink out of that looking sensible. So, time to rank them in some kind of order. Just for its sheer interestingness, I'm going to put the brewed there. I'm going to put the espresso there. I'm going to put the milk there. I think it's good in all three. I think it works well. But I just think in here, it's a super interesting coffee. So it's something I've not seen certainly very often, and certainly not for a long time. A confused cup of coffee. Three things about this coffee. It's called Perla Negra, so it's a very small micro lot from Lajas. Perla Negra just means black pearl. I'm guessing this is from the cherry, and when it dries they would tend to look a little bit black. It's a natural processed coffee. It's organic, and it is grown in the foothills of the Pajos volcano. And it's from the Central Valley. And you're going to hear me talking a lot about the different regions of Costa Rica over the coming weeks because we have some very exciting coffees coming from Costa Rica. This is the first of many. And we have some very interesting coffees. I know I talked about it last week, but the next few weeks are just going to blow your mind. It is such an exciting time to be in coffee. Never ever have we been so blessed with so many amazing coffees at the same time. So it's going to be fun, and I hope you're along for the journey. Right, time to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me as always, and do remember, life is too short for bad coffee, and all we have around us at the moment is amazing coffees.